allow the children. It's okay. It's okay. Off your mind. It's okay. Off your mind.
Chai! Now wow, people wey suppose talk truth to power don't off mic. And if we talk, now 500,000 they go summer us, call them hate speech. But fear not, Maiyegun don't come. Him go torchlight every corner, nooks and cranny of all these bad people where they spoil our country. So my people make we laugh, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. My people make we shout, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. MaiyegunDiary Politico, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. This one not the off in mind, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Can in the touchlight every corner, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Okay, some people be they holla say they want the power. Chai, them be promise us say we go get light and power. Them hustle sote they can't get the power. But now they know they do anything with the power. Every day, dollar just they get the higher power over naira. See them talk say make we off mind, but thank God say Maiyegun don't come. So my people make you loud, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. My people make we shout, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. MaiyegunDiary Politico, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. This one not the off in mind, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Person where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that Maiyegun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say MaiyegunDiary, he they hot like pepper. But every day then they take money in bulk. Poor man picking, they the street they hawk. Still them talk say make we no talk. But thank God say Maiyegun don't come. So my people make you loud, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. My people make you shout, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. MaiyegunDiary Politico, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. This man not the Maiyegun.
Hello there.
MaiyegunDiary, Maiyegun làwa mọ̀, àmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. MaiyegunDiary, Maiyegun ti dé o, ọ̀rẹ́ ará ìlú. MaiyegunDiary, lórí Facebook, lórí YouTube.
Good morning to you, good afternoon to you, and good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. This is Maiyegun Live.
MaiyegunDiary Politico. Godfatherism.
Thank you so much for joining me from wherever you are watching from. Remember, share this broadcast. Invite your friends. Invite your not so friendly friends. Tell them, Maiyegun today, oh. Yes.
Ani esunraki.
Maiyegun today.
I've got pieces of so many information to share with you today. So bear with me as you are settling down to watch this. Like the broadcast, share the broadcast. Then read the caption and the description as well before you sit back and relax. A quick question, by the way. Have you received your own badge of Tinubu's rice in your community yet? Mutideo. So good morning to you once again. Good afternoon to you. And good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. This is Maiyegun Live. And if you have already read the caption of this broadcast, which means you are already in tune with what we are about to talk about tonight. But there are many others that you probably don't know yet, okay? But the height of it is that Tinubu's wife is advising women to reorientate their children, especially the young people, about the kind of plan that Tinubu has for you. He wants to support you, and he will need your support too. Because don't expect the government to do everything for you. If you have small, you serve, share them with people around you. As everywhere tight, if you're old, they a little bit elastic, you can share. So pretty much like tell the youth not to be agitated. Tell them that they should not let anybody kind of encourage them to go up against Tinubu. I'll share that with you. But let me share some other information that I think before we go straight into our banters and every other thing that will follow. Remember what I told you about the $3 billion crude oil for cash deal or loan deal that NNPC announced a few days ago, that the plan was to make it a hidden debt. So NNPC coming to the rescue of Central Bank of Nigeria. So NNPC approached Afrexim. There's a bank called Afrexim or something, right? So they will give them $3 billion cash. Now, this Afrexim will be taking crude oil from Nigeria. We don't know how much crude oil will be given to them. We don't know what the interest is and how many years they will be taking the crude oil from Nigeria. Nobody knows, okay? But you know, they told you subsidy is not, they are not like bringing subsidy back that way. But I told you, the intention was for NNPC to have their hands on any cash like that, okay? So they can then give that, the dollar subsidy to their friends, all right? And when I say their friends, the same oil marketers that they can never name or mention. So that's exactly what they are doing right now. Immediately, they made the announcement that they are getting $3 billion. Central Bank of Nigeria released a statement, okay? Now, let's slow it down a bit for you to understand this better. Nigeria deregulated the oil sector on paper, which is like saying the government of Nigeria no longer have business with oil sector in Nigeria. If you want to go into oil business, go into it. Whatever the cost is to you, and you know how to sell your product, take it to Nigeria. That was what they said, the removal of subsidy. We are not paying anybody any extra anymore. If the business no pay you, no do am. But the real subsidy, is that to bring petrol to Nigeria or any finished product at all, you are going to need dollars. And with what the dollar is saying, a lot of them kind of, not only that they are not importing, they are beginning to hoard the one they had when the dollar was still very much average. So telling people that you once told that subsidy was gone, that subsidy is back, would be kind of like shooting yourself in the head, like suicide. So what did they do? They sent NNPC to go and borrow money so that they can give free crude oil to those who are giving them the cash. Now they will now give the cash to the central bank. Now central bank will now say, hey, everybody having problem with dollars. Every of you who is, you know what I mean? They make it look like it's like for everybody, but it's not for everybody, okay? It's for their friends, the oil marketers. So they say, okay, everybody who have problem, come. We have now subsidized the dollar, okay? Which means instead of you buying the dollar for 900, 950, as the things was going then, with these $3 billion, come, we'll sell the dollar to you for 300 naira, 400 naira. Sure you get? That means we'll subsidize the money you want to use in bringing fuel to Nigeria. Subsidy in a new way. Sure you get? Now the 3 billion is available, or they have been promised it should be available any moment, right? So Central Bank of Nigeria now released statement to say everybody, you know, under Bukwari, Emefiole, the Atlas Emefiole, working for the cold-hearted Bukwari, you know what they did? First, on those who have a debit card that's a kind of dollar account that you can use, you could use your bank card abroad before these criminals came in, they cut it off. Before they cut it off, they first reduced how much you can spend on your own card. Sure you get? They reduced that. At a point, I think they said you can only spend $20 a day. That was their own way of controlling corruption, so that people will not be corrupt, people will not be using the dollar, blah, blah, blah. On the other end, they were feeding themselves. They were filling their own pockets with every available dollar, not for production, not for business, so just sharing among themselves. So those who, there was a form they said you could pick up in the bank then, once, whether you wanted to go and study abroad, okay, and you need the dollars or you need the forex, you pick up the form from your bank, you fill it, how much dollars you need and all that. They will tell you the exchange rates there, okay, and the bank will give you the money. Sure, you get the usual way. But when these guys came in, all of that became pile of backlog of unfulfilled payments, to the point that this actually affected a lot of people who couldn't pay for their medical bill. They couldn't pay their tuition abroad at the time under that same Bokwari. So now that there is $3 billion, NNPC has now announced, come, the form is available now. We are going to roll out the cash and give the money to the banks. So if you need dollars, just go to your bank now, any amount. That is their own way of controlling the rising dollar. Tinubu nomics. Shebi, I told you that's what they wanted to do. Now they are already doing it. They are making it look like, oh, the money is available. Come and, if everything, come and pick it now. The banks will have them. But now, to explain what that truly means, the loss that simply means to Nigeria, I'll tell you. The reason why they have been using subsidy to defraud Nigerians for years, especially under Bukwari, is that if they allowed the marketers to sell the petrol at the landing cost, the Nigerians would not be able to afford it. So when they started doing the breakdown, however, so they decided to breach in, You know, that's why they raise the numbers, so 1, 2, 3, like that, you know, billions to trillions and the rest of that between themselves and their friends. But the problem right now is that renaming it with what they have actually done right now means you who are Nigerians that they have lied to for years with different economic jargons for years. It will not make any sense today for them to turn around and possibly indict themselves. That's why they'll be like, you know what? Nigeria will bear the cost. Here you get. So if so a businessman says, I spent 10 naira to produce this pencil, and I'm going to need to sell it for 12 naira to make a profit of 2 naira. Here you get. Now, in their own, what do you call it? In their own word, it is more or less like, if that as a businessman, you were forced to sell that your product for 11 naira. By your own estimate and business point of view, you've lost half of what should be your profit. Normally, as a businessman, you would end up finding a way to spread that loss on your customers to recoup your money. But when it comes to government, no accountability. They believe that, you know what, just write it in the name of government. No accountability. So that's what they did for 8 solid years, paying themselves whatever it was, like blank check, no accountability. So the loss, Nigerians will bear the loss. So that's exactly the deal they just made right now. $1, the value of naira today is 940 naira to $1. Now the value means everything within Nigeria that is like sort of marketable or commercial, if you put them together behind that naira, they are all worth 900 naira to $1. So it means that if you have more production that could actually beat that margin, then you break the, what do you call, you break the gap. So what they are now doing is they are borrowing $1, $3 billion, which original value with the naira should be 900 naira at a minimum, or 900 naira to $1. So $3 billion should be somewhere around 2.7 trillion naira. Now that's the value of that dollar. Whatever crude oil they are going to give to those people, I believe it's going to be double of that. Maybe 5 trillion. I'm talking about from 3 billion, they'll probably have a profit of all of this that will that will probably pass $5 billion. I kind of feel like that. Now, to Nigerians, the $3 billion value that they want to give to their friends cheap, it simply means when all their friends their marketer friends start exchanging dollar for 300 naira, Nigeria is losing 600 naira value from the money they've already borrowed to exchange for crude oil. The losses are kind of unimaginable. But because it is government loss, not a proper business. You know, if you are doing a business, you can't handle such loss without your business dying. But in Nigeria, with no accountability, they can take $3 billion and sell it for how much? $1.1 billion. $2.9 billion loss can be written off onto Nigerians, since now crude oil they go take pay. Even the crude oil value that they are going to give, just imagine the loss on our side, because it is government. Sorry if my layman explanation about this fraud seems to be like far-fetched or something to you. But that's exactly what they are doing, right? So yeah, the money is available now. And which means if you have never had a chance of, what do you call it? Of getting your money changed from the bank in a while, the central bank says you can now pick up the forms and apply. Okay? So which means by so doing, they can temporarily slow down the fall of Naira. And when I say temporarily, I'm talking about just maybe a month. Because once the $3 billion is exhausted, they probably will need another $3 billion and another $3 billion. And they need to keep providing that $3 billion. And if you turn around and check what that simply means, that's dollar subsidy and petrol subsidy. Under Bukuwari, petrol subsidy was gulping nearly 5 trillion naira a year. We don't know who they were paying the money to, okay? Now, since it is not petrol subsidy, in order for marketers to have cheap dollars and then possibly cut down how much they are going to sell the petrol to you, of course, you're already paying about 600 naira anyway, yeah? So if they give them the dollar subsidy, instead of you paying 800 naira per liter, you can start paying 650 naira per liter because the marketers have access to a cheap dollar that they have secretly put together in a way to say, okay, we don't want to do subsidy. Now, if you exchange that dollars, it simply means if they keep doing this every month or every 2 months, so this is my own calculation. Oh, they have $3 billion now that they can use to slow down the crash of Naira that has been happening, the death of Naira, for a month, when that one will be exhausted. Let's say 2 months, all right? Now, by another 2 months, they will need another $3 billion. So the value of $3 billion is 2.7 trillion naira. So which means by their calculation, don't pay subsidy of 4 trillion, okay? Just pay dollar subsidy by giving them to buy, cheap dollars, right? Like that. So what that then means is that Nigeria is paying about $2.7 trillion. 2.7 billion naira. No, what am I saying? See the problem. 2.7 trillion naira every 2 months to control the dollar price, exchange rates, at the same time to control the price of petrol, even though they have deregulated the sector. It was meant to be the market forces or the market force that should that should determine how much you pay for your petrol. But that was the lie they told you. Behind the scene, they are still the same people bringing in the petrol. They just need another way to pay themselves even far, far better than what they told you was gone. Does that even make any sense to you at all? Because this is what will happen. If they slow it down for a month or two with this $3 billion, after that, when the people will need more dollars to bring more, what is going to happen? Where would they go to? Would they still go to the empty bank that has no dollars? Or would they go to the parallel market that they say speculators are changing? Where would they go to? And if they have nowhere to go to other than to whatever is available in the market, won't you start the race again? So let's say they manage to control it by bringing it down to 700 naira to $1 with their $3 billion in an economy that is said to be, over $400 billion economy is shrinking. And the abracadabra of saving it is this backdoor dollar subsidy that they said was gone. Sorry that took me longer to arrive at that, much clearer conclusion. Does that make any sense to you? Because it makes sense, Don't worry, it will make sense later. According to Remi feels like we need to reorientate ourselves and our children so that they will understand what Kolu has in stock for you. Somehow, I think I should let you see that before we proceed. Ladies and gentlemen, it was Remi in the villa this time. So, one sec.
For Women's Societies, NCWS.
Majority of youth, especially our children, we should start giving them a proper reorientation about how they are supposed to work. It's very tough too now. How they are supposed to work in a good community, of help. They are quite too lavish in the way they do things nowadays. And I think it has to do with the influence of social media. So, but we have to give them an alternative. We have to give them a hope and make them realize who they are as Nigerians. You know, they shouldn't forget our culture. They shouldn't forget our traditions that really tell us who we are. Nigeria is already in the map of the world. It's just only a question of time for us to really rise up in our prosperity that God has blessed us with, to show the world that Nigeria is a great country. And I believe that mothers here, that is what we do. In my culture, in the Yoruba culture, they said when you have a newborn baby, the head of the baby will not be bent to a side because the mother would help mold and shape the head of the baby. And I think this is the time for us to go seek back our young people back, to go look for them and, you know, try to also pour into them. And I believe we women and mothers too, we had our fault. In the, you know, I would say in the quest for wealth and comfort, we neglected our children. We left them behind at home to the mercy of television and social media. So once they're at home, we think everything is fine, but they learn so much just with the phone they have. So we know technology has really gone so to a level that even a newborn baby knows about what she's supposed, or he or she is supposed to press on a piece of telephone. So, and we shouldn't take it for granted because they are there quiet. Oh, they're at home, everything is fine. No, the telephone has taken them to pornography, taking them to a lot of things, drug, to even suicide. That is what it has taken them. So we have to really go and nurture our children back. So having said that, you all know what I'm saying. So we shouldn't just keep going on that. We'll go on to the Renewed Hope Initiative. And then I'll also talk about my role as the grand patron of the organization, which I know I used to be a patron when I was in the state. And when it goes to the grassroots, how you are going to make it trickle down and for your presence to be felt. That's why I said you don't come today, because the day we will do the decoration should be big so that the state too, the state chapter would do likewise to the first ladies of states, and also the who becomes the patron, and then the local government who are the matrons. And so I want to see a very, very strong National Council for Women's Society. And by the grace of God, I will work with you as much as I can, because I know the worth of your organization. Even my late mother-in-law was the one who was really, really into the National Council for Women's Society, and also introduced me from just observing her to your worth and what you did for this nation and what you are still going to do. So.
Oh no. I'm sorry about the audio, okay? It does that on its own, unfortunately. Remi was talking about the culture, our children, and all of that. Social media, influencing them, and the blah, the blah, the blah. Do you want to see the children that Remi is talking about, or was talking about? Just briefly, right? I'll show you one of them here. The children.
Kúrò níwájú ẹ̀, kúrò níwájú ẹ̀. Lọ gbàgbé wọn. One be by.
Sorry about that as well, okay? But 1 second though, right? That is mostly the day, how the day of an average child in Nigeria really goes. Yeah. When I say average, I'm talking about when you begin to sieve out those who actually look like they are going to school to get education, or those who are just going there because they just have to be there, since the system want them to be, not because there's any standard or what have you for them. That is the average. When you separate them, you will see the massive number of them like that all over Nigeria. Now that the thing just like has become a cutthroat for a lot of families now. Anyway, let's go to the part of the palliative. I mean, at least a lot of you should have started seeing sharing of bag of rice to your different communities from Abuja and all that. I mean, you should have. Even me with this Scotland, I have seen people. But there are some other stories behind this too. Okay. According to the reports, Tinubu sent 5 trucks of rice to all of the states in Nigeria, including Abuja. Each trailer, each truck will carry 600 bags of rice. So if you have 5 trucks sent to your state, that is like 600 times 5. That should be 3,000 bags of rice to every state. When the people of Kwara received their own, they did not receive 3,000 bags. They received 1,200 bags. The Alimajiri system is now national. Everybody come out, oh. They have brought food, oh. This is what's currently our own portion, oh. How do you want us to share this food? The Alimajiri system has gone national. But how would you know it's Alimajiri system? Sorry if you don't understand Yoruba. I will interpret for you, to everybody, okay? When the people of this community received the news that the subsidy that they removed, which has caused serious hardship on tens of millions of Nigerians, finally, hope is here. Opportunity is here. I'm trying to remember all this Tinubu's campaign to you. Happiness is here. Rice is here. Finally. And to the people of this community here, that's how they share their, or should I say how they receive the news. I'm still coming back home.
Batawa dọ̀hún wọ́n wá ní ìjọba àpapọ̀ ní federal government wọ́n fún ìpínlẹ̀ Kwara ní 1,200 bags of rice, ẹgbẹ̀rún kan àtọgọ́rùn-ún méjì àpò ìrẹsì. Sẹ́yìn bá mi gbọ́ báyìí ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ ní àpapọ̀ gbé fún Kwara state. Fún Kwara state yìí wọ́n sì ní local government ti ń pé 16. So lábẹ́ mẹ́rìndínlógún kan náà ni Ìlọrin West wà nínú wọn. Ìlọrin West tó wà nínú èyí ó ní wọ́ọ̀dù tí ń ṣe 12 nínú wọ́ọ̀dù tí ń ṣe 12 l'Adéwọlé jẹ́ kan náà láti Adéwọlé yìí ni Àgùnbẹ́léwò wà. Wọ́n wá níjọba àpapọ̀ tí ìbátan gbé ká débẹ̀ nínú 1,100 tẹ́ fún wa. Wọ́n fún gbogbo Adéwọlé lápapọ̀ ní àpò báàgì rẹ́sì 8. Gbogbo tí ń jẹ́ Adéwọlé ẹ bá bẹ̀rẹ̀ láti Pàkátà títí lẹ́yìndégàrẹ̀ wó ògùn ọkọ̀. Adéwọlé ló dé gbogbo bẹ́ẹ̀ wọ́n fún wọn ní báàgì ráìsì 8. Báàgì ráìsì 8 yìí wọ́n wá sọ àwọn àdúgbò wọ́n so wọ́n papọ̀. Nínú ìlàjì báàgì wọ́n wá so wọ́n ní 36 ike ní wà nínú báàgì kan. Wọ́n wá so Àgùnbẹ́léwò Gà Odò ta àti Adéwọlé housing estate. Wọ́n so papọ̀. So àwọn mẹ́ta àwa pín ìlàjì báàgì. Ìlàjì báàgì kan fún ike 6 kan gbogbo Àgùnbẹ́léwò lápapọ̀. Ọ̀rọ̀ yìí ṣe pàtàkì ó gbogbo ẹ̀ka bá jẹ́ olóṣèlú ìjọ ẹgbẹ́ olúwa.
Ó ti dójú ẹsẹ̀. Ó ti dójú ẹsẹ̀. Ó ti dójú ẹsẹ̀.
Just like I said, to those of you who don't understand Yoruba, I will break it down for you. Okay? You see that community, which comprises of about 6 to 7 different communities. Their spokesperson was telling them that because of this removed subsidy, which has brought hardship, the federal government has sent palliatives. And the palliative that got to them in Kwara State was 1,200 bags. Because Kwara State has 16 local government areas. Ilorin West received 8 bags. Now, from the 8 bags that got to Ilorin West, these 8 communities, they were to share half bag of rice after they deliberated. The half bag of rice that now got to 3 of them. In that space community, they said only 6 bowls. Abiba Olashimakwe Congo. What do you call Congo in Nigeria now? Because when I was still in Nigeria, we call it Congo. The Rika So the entire community, when they finally got theirs, it would be 6 bowls of rice. And that was it in that small bag for everybody to share. The palliative for removal of subsidy. So all this palliative is coming. Wait for Tinubu. Baba. And that is not all. Tinubu also announced that they were going to give every state 5 billion naira so that they can share the money to the poor people in their states. That was the announcement. Abi, you read about the announcement, Abi? 5 billion to every state. It doesn't matter your size, your population. Everybody, 5 billion. Abuja too, 5 billion, making it 37. 185 billion was taken out of the 500 billion that Tinubu announced. That Tinubu borrowed. You know that they borrowed the money. The money is not free. The 1 trillion naira that Tinubu said they have saved on subsidy, Maybe they haven't started spending that yet. I don't know. Okay. But they borrowed this 810 billion that Tinubu took 500 billion. So from that 500 billion, they said they will give every state 5 billion each. But that music has also changed. The music changed because after they thought about it, they now said the money is not free. Every state that takes the 5 billion is taking a loan, and they will be taking it from their monthly allocation. So which means you can take your 5 billion and begin to do Father Christmas on the street. So they are borrowing you the money. They are borrowing your state the money. And they are also telling them what to do with the money. Share the money. Do you understand? Well, the governors met inside the asshole rock, having won the first round. That will at least give them 5 billion naira each. Watch this.
Has met and has expressed serious concerns as regards increasing cost of food items, increasing cost of transportation, amongst others, as a result of subsidy removal. In order to cushion the effect of the subsidy removal, the federal government of Nigeria has released 5 trucks of rice to each state last week. Furthermore, in order to cushion the effect of food shortages across the country, the federal government has approved the sum of 5 billion naira to be given to each state for the procurement of 100,000 bags of rice, 100,000 bags of rice, 40,000 bags of maize, and fertilizers. This funding has to be shared with a formula as follows. 52% of this money is given to states as grants, while 48% of the 5 billion naira is to be paid back on an installment basis within a period of 2 years, 20 months, to the CBN by the states and the local government areas in Nigeria. The Council has commended the effort of the federal government under the leadership of President Tinubu, as well as the CBN. And we have also commended the efforts of NEMA in cushioning the effect of the subsidy removal. Council has taken bold decisions in order to ensure speedy release of grains and other items in order to cushion the effect of subsidy removal to the less privileged in the society. Council has also taken note of the $800 million loan and should be strictly used for its intended purpose and based on accurate and acceptable register. The $800 million announced by the President will go to Nigerians in accordance with an accurate social register. Furthermore, Council has also noted the package that was announced by President in order to cushion the effect of the subsidy removal, amounting to about 500 billion naira. And this fund has to be distributed to the following sectors: MSMEs, industrial sector, cash transfer, about 125 billion naira will go to cash transfer, agricultural sector, as well as gas expansion for buses. Because of the increasing cost of fossil fuel, the federal government has intended to establish more gas stations in Nigeria, procure more gas-powered buses, CNG buses, as well as electric buses in order to cushion the effect of the subsidy removal. Furthermore, NEMA will also liaise with states to distribute foodstuffs to the people immediately, especially those that are affecting the frontline states that are bordering the Niger Republic because of influx of refugees. The Council has also tasked the state to dialogue with the labor union's leadership. A committee made up of Anambra State Governor, NGF Chairman, and others have been nominated to interface with labor. The most important thing that the Council has taken note is that all these palliatives that are being mentioned now are temporary solutions. Council has decided to invest on medium and longer term sustainable solutions that will ensure availability of food and non-food items in Nigeria, especially investing in commercial agriculture and also investing in irrigated agriculture. NEC is calling on Nigerians and indeed labor to become law-abiding, as the President is determined to address the issues at hand. Thank you very much.
You know that everything is said in that presser, yeah, is a lie and a scam or join. Do you know that? Okay, I will explain it to you. Okay, and yeah, thank you very much. That's really generous of you, right? Thank you very much for that. We do appreciate that. Okay, very much. But if anyone is really want to support us like you just did, I advise to that you should make use of the PayPal. Okay, this I won't be able to get it until next month, which is still good, not bad. All right, fine. But yeah, anyone who really want to support the Yoruba Union, the back to school kids, family support, and every one of that, right? Don't give me the super chat for it. Okay, use the PayPal. It will be well appreciated, and as always, thank you. Do you know that everything is said in that video is a lie, a scam, manipulation that will eventually lead you to the same worst place? I'll break it down for you. It said 48% of the 5 billion is to be paid back in 20 months. Abi? While the 52% of the money, they were to go and procure 100,000 bag of rice. Abi? Okay. And also fertilizers. So, ladies and gentlemen, the bag of rice have started arriving because that interview was yesterday. Tinubu said he has released grains, including rice, from the silos in Nigeria. He didn't say how much or how many, but he repeatedly said they have released grains, they have released wheat, they have released this and that. Maybe you have read about that, Abi? Then he said they cared about people who shared borders with Niger. So NEMA will be going about to share food to them. All right? He also said they also intend, they had a temporary, medium, mid-term, and long-term solution for this subsidy removal. No, they don't. What they have is temporary shege, mid-term shege, and long-term shege, which is the Shege Pro Max. That's what they have for you. He said they want to go into commercial farming. That is somebody from Borno State. Borno State, the terrorist capital of Nigeria, or the terrorism capital of Nigeria. That guy speaking there served as governor of Borno State. They supposedly have over 26 or so local government areas. And the Boko Haram have already claimed 2/3 of the entire state. I'm not making this up. Go and read about it. At a point, only 5 local government areas were under Nigeria. You see the remaining local government in Borno and their local government chairman and everything, they all moved to the Maiduguri, the state capital. So every money all the money for all the local government areas goes straight to him. So you know what he does most, right? He will build houses, like he does that. He build houses, and then he will put people in there, like relocating the refugees who ran away from those local government areas. Then they will have bag of rice, food, this and that to share to them. Since there is no point in going to do development in those areas anymore. Nobody operates there but terrorists. They've taken over the entire area. This is not a make-up story. It's real. Borno State. Now, the guy, they talk about commercial farming. Where in that same Borno State, Boko Haram beheaded rice farmers in Borno. They cut off all their head. They put their head on the hip of their body, on the farms they were working on, because the Boko Haram said they suspected them as spies for Nigerian army. Listen to me. When they were doing this paddy rice, whatever, that Emefiole took money from the African Development Bank, where Akinwumi Adesina, the former agriculture minister in Nigeria, is their president. Under this Boko Haram, they took over 1.4 trillion naira worth of loan from African Development Bank. And Boko Haram ensured that 90% of that money was given to the farmers in northern Nigeria. But what they didn't tell you, part of what made Nigeria lost all that money was that the territory where those farms are no longer controlled by Nigeria. The farmers in some of these communities, they are harvesting those farms. They are harvesting them for the terrorists. And these guys know about that. Now, the guy come on come on the media to tell you the plan that they have, that everybody should give them time. You see why I don't believe them? Do you see why I have trust issue? Do you see why some of you will be like, why are you always like, procrastinating? Let's give them benefit of doubt. I know them very well, that everything they say is not for any reason worth the piece of paper they write them on. It is all nonsense. Look at them very well and then come back and tell me, why do you think you always get the same result from them all the time? All talks, no action, while lives are continually destroyed because you don't pay attention to them. A lot of you pay attention to the nonsense they are saying. But look at them deeper. These are empty rogues making promises to you while they are ruining your lives because they are mostly clueless, greedy, selfish, and they don't care. So now the guy they read, so they talk about commercial farming. That the council also met. They will do commercial waiting. For where? Where farmers are being chased away by terrorists. The terrorism was so good in Nigeria that instead of us to have a special prison for terrorists who have committed economic jihad against Nigeria, religious destruction, lives and properties destroyed, still being destroyed. People who are supposed to be committed to asylum, lifetime in jail for their crimes. So, Baba, now paddy we they do, we they forgive terrorists and we they jail activists. You know that? Activists are jailed. Terrorists are celebrated. Kind of. How many of you know that terrorists in Nigeria, repentant terrorists in Nigeria get paid salary? How many of you know that? You don't know. Okay, I'm coming back to the palliative, at the subsidy palliative. Mo will just dash down to that same northern Nigeria where repentant terrorists, they are protesting the unpaid salary, 30,000 naira salary for June and July. Immediately Boko Haram left. It be like say they run the whole Repentant terrorists, yo. Repentant terrorists who are supposed to be in jail. They were on the streets demanding for their rights. Why won't you pay them? Tell me. When one of their governors, the governor of the state where 36 Nigerian soldiers or military personnel were slaughtered, were butchered, and we saw their videos online. And the governor came out and said, have you forgotten? This is what their governor said, oh, we'll go back to the protest soon. I told you, I have a lot of gist for you. And I could be going left, right, center, and everywhere. You shall just follow me until you are bored. Their governor, Baba, in the same Niger state.
And we have come to the villa now, my senator, the member House of Representatives, to also thank Mr. President for his support, and we need a lot of collaboration with both the local communities, the presidency, and even the state. We are looking at two options. First is non-kinetic. As a government, we have put in machineries to start talking to the bandits, the other elements that are not in tandem with living peacefully. So as a government, we've created a Ministry of Nomadic and Pastoral Affairs to look at the issues of the Fulani headsmen. You need to understand that Niger State has the largest congregation in the world of Fulani headsmen. Niger State is 8.3 million hectares of land with bodies of water. The pastoral environment is very good for grazing. A lot of Fulani across the world, not just Africa, converge in Niger State. So we don't want them to leave. So we don't want any major military activities. We want to talk to them. But if we don't get to that level, then probably we have to go fully military.
AIT. Thanks. They have already opened the Ministry of Nomadic, issue. So the Fulanis, who are highly concentrated in Niger State, the terrorists who have the capacity to shoot down government fighter jets severally in that same Niger, Baba, who have killed many military personnel. What did they get? A ministry for them, a commissioner in charge of Fulani nomadic. And they don't want any military action. I hope all these Igbo governors are also watching this whole drama, by the way, just on the side, yo. Igbo governors, especially Igbo governors. One hand, you are blowing cold. The other hand, you are blowing hot. You are willingly inviting these murderous criminals to your region to kill your youth by naming them whatever you want to name them enough to have a reason to kill them. Abi, they are opening ministry for those who have the capacity to shoot down military fighter jets. And they are still getting paid as well. Seriously. Aba, when they didn't pay them in June and July. I'm sorry if you don't understand Hausa Abi Fulani. Here you have the repentant terrorist protesting unpaid salaries. Come back. Repentant Boko Haram. Every time you read about the horrible, gory reports of the terrorist victims in Nigeria, women, children, okay, who have been slaughtered needlessly by these terrorists. If you are looking for those responsible for putting Nigeria on the map as the terrorist capital of Africa, second most terrorized people in the world, a country that is not supposedly fighting any war, but hundreds of people are being slaughtered across the country, needlessly, violently. Those are the people responsible. But they are repentant. And one other kind of ironical thing that is also playing out these days, ladies and gentlemen, is that you don't have a right to go out there, you Nigerians, so you that are supposed to be Nigerians, so in that same your country, you've committed no crime or what have you. You want better government, you want this and that. You can't go out there and protest like that, without seeing the soldiers, the military, all of them in combat gears, ready to pounce, ready to kill. You know what I mean? Like battle ready. It's impossible, is it? But those who were there, they were there to give them guard and all that. And gradually, protest is becoming not an haram anymore. So let's go back to the palliative. Do you know that if you are looking for one of those most confused hypocrites in this our lifetime, you're going to see the northern jihadists, because that's what I see them as. You're going to see a northern jihadist that will tell you, especially when they have this mixture of Fulani and Hausa in them, they could tell you how born to rule they are. Look at us. You can all see all your nonsense. Now we go still continue to rule you. I'm talking about Isa, Musa. We be saying that the same challenges, me and them, they face. So we are nobodies to these criminals. So But because he's Hausa Fulani, he kind of have this mentality that, we are born to rule. We will rule you. We will lead you forever. Anybody cannot be anything in this country but us. Born to rule. Then you have these Southerners too, who somehow have also kind of agreed that even if you want to do anything better, even if you want the better person to rule Nigeria, if the North says no, if you say you want a referendum, a new constitution, anything that is not in the interest of the North, there's nothing the South can do. There are many of us who grew up with that belief. Because it's almost true. You know, it's kind of almost true. Right? And that is why you will see every Southern criminal politician go into the North. I mean, Southern criminal going to the North to go and kiss the ring of these despotic criminals from that part too. It's like, you know, kind of believe that you have to have the blessing of the North. So therefore, when they say the northern Nigeria is Islamic region, when you say, no, it is not, that is blasphemy. Because how dare you? We just told you. Whatever we say to you is what it is. How dare you challenge it? We'll kill you for it. Kind of, you know what I mean? That belief. Then generally, a lot of us know that with available data, statistics, reliable ones, northern Nigeria remains the poorest part of Nigeria, even though if you start counting those who have ruled Nigeria, who have had the chance of ruling Nigeria, out of the 63 years of Nigeria existence, Nigeria has been ruled by northerners for over 47 to 48 years. Out of 63 years. But yet, northern Nigeria remains the poorest part of Nigeria because their investment is never in their people. The pride in seeing their people in what they call the Almajiri system, beggarly system, poorest beggarly system, right? Kind of, right? It's called their culture, and therefore, they built a system around it. They called it quota system. Quota system that says the northern Nigeria are inferior in everything. For them to meet up, they need some level of systemic jump start. That's what we grew up knowing. You want to go to unity school? No, you can't use the same entrance as score like those from northern Nigeria. Their criminal leaders ensure that systemic backwardness, and it's intentional. Okay? The brain in the head of a northern child is not different from the brain in the head of a southern child. It is what they are exposed to. And when the system is intentionally going to make them they're poorly educated, there's nothing you can do. So that systemic arrangement put the North in a way that when they say, they are inadequate. Oh, they don't have the brain. Oh, they don't have the sense. If you need 100 score to enter the unity school from southern Nigeria, a northerner will enter the same unity school with just 2. It was so obvious that they built a system that when they are teaching English, they have to teach them in Hausa. When they are teaching mathematics, they have to teach them in Hausa. When they are teaching them anything at all, they have to teach them in their local language. It could have been better if there are actually real investments in that, but there was no plan to invest in it or make them better. So over time, that tag of northern Nigeria is poor is something that even the northerners themselves, they are not ashamed to say. Do you understand? Remember what I told you? We are born to rule. All of you can continue to shout and all of that, and we go still rule you. That is Musa that nobody gives a damn about. But because he's a Hausa Fulani, he believes that he is born to rule. In fact, in southern Nigeria, Southerners believe that Musa that is selling recharge card If he go back to Kano, he can become a senator, even though he didn't go to any school. So a Southerner believe that they have the advantage over them and there's nothing they can do about it. But yeah, like I said, everybody believes and everybody knows the northern Nigeria, terrorism capital of Nigeria, is the place that puts Nigeria on the map as the terrorist capital of Africa. The same northern Nigeria with the poor leadership that has affected Nigeria over time, it became the symbol of the poverty of Nigeria. Now that Nigeria is the poverty capital of the world, right? Thanks to this northern part of Nigeria. Everybody knows it. But remember, because of the quota system on education, quota system in civil service, quota system in political posting, quota system in border demarcation, quota system in state creation, quota system in local government creation, and on like that, quota system in sharing allocation. All of this quota is also quota system that has also created quota billionaire Dangote. You all know Dangote is a quota system billionaire that doesn't really compete. He didn't make his money through any competition. He made this money through the systemic monopoly, which is solely for him because he is from northern Nigeria. Now, with that, the richest black man on earth, Dangote, quota system billionaire, that money does not reflect in the lives of an average northerner from Nigeria. Write that down. When it comes to the Nigeria oil rigs, when you talk about oil in Nigeria, the oil is in a part of Nigeria, which is the eastern part of Nigeria today. Anyway, the Niger Deltans will say, no, we are not Easterners. I know, I don't want to start argument. But you know what I'm saying? That's the part where the oil come from. Anambra, Imo, Delta, even us in Southwest too. Ondo, then Bayelsa, go on to Port Harcourt. Well, you know one thing that is so kind of ridiculous is that the major oil rigs in Nigeria are not owned by the people from southern Nigeria or the people from the oil producing region. No. Over time, Nigeria oil has been a bit of a thank you compensation for the elite, especially those who actually takes power. And because, like I said, out of 63 years, northern Nigerians or northerners have been in charge of Nigeria for over 47 years. Now, 47 years means every 10 years, they could renew and give it to their friends, girlfriends, and concubines, and all that. And that's exactly what they have been doing with Nigeria oil. And those are those who now bring in the Shell, Chevron, Texaco, and the rest of them to come and extract the oil and give them royalty. And that's how they became billionaires. Now, with this billion they have everywhere, this family, that family in northern Nigeria, billion. Northern Nigeria is still the poverty capital of Nigeria. But that depends on who is saying it. Me, I can say it. Shut up your mouth, you this Yoruba man. You can say it. They say, okay, it's all right. But somebody that shouldn't say it, or the people that shouldn't say it, they are the Igbos. Someone that shouldn't even say or mention poverty in northern Nigeria is Peter Obi. How dare you? Northern Nigeria can feed the rest of Nigeria. This Peter Obi has finally offended us. Remember when Peter Obi said he was going to start the fight against poverty from northern Nigeria because northern agriculture is going to be the new oil. And northern Nigeria have the resources to become the richest part of Nigeria, defeat poverty. For days, everybody just the foam for mouth. Peter Obi called them poor. How dare he? He will never be president. Look at this man. How dare you? This Peter Obi, this man is so useless. How can you go and call us poor? And everybody was like, hello, Kilon go on. Poor now. I mean, he's not lying. Poor now. Like you are poor now. Is it just because of the person saying it? Everybody knows you are poor. You put Nigeria on the map. For terrorism, northern Nigeria. For poverty, northern Nigeria. And for 8 years, you know, they shout Sai Baba as Sai barbarians. Everywhere. So somebody said, I will fight poverty from northern Nigeria. I will reduce this. Hey, Peter B call us poor. We can feed you. We can shake. You are poor. The dust never settle. They come here say, Tinubu they share 5 truck of rice. Whether you are from Bayelsa, 5 truck. Whether you are from, I hate this moss. I've been a moth that they call her. All this labalaba thing, see her. And it is the light that is attracting it, I believe. A distraction. Everybody collect your 5 truck and just go and share your rice. Almost since yesterday. I saw tears that they see everywhere. Guess who are those tears coming from? The rich northerners. Kelo too far, why the fight? Don't fight yourself. Don't beat yourself. Calm down. Oh yeah, explain yourself. What is going on? Tell me what happened. It was, oh yeah, come here. What is it? Can you believe it? This Tinubu is the real hunger. Under Bokwari, you know if you talk like that, shut up your mouth. Don't talk to Tinubu like that. This was me fighting on your behalf, in case if you don't know. Like, don't talk to him like that. What happened? He said Tinubu knows that there are more poor people in Kano alone than the entire poor people in the entire South, Niger Delta, the entire Niger Delta. But at least Tinubu gave 5 truck to Bayelsa, and he gave 5 truck to Kano. He gave 5 truck to Borno, and he also gave 5 truck to. What kind of thing is that? Does anybody not know that the poorest people is in northern Nigeria? How could you do that? Did you just say poorest people in northern? Sure, okay. You rich people, very rich. When did the northern Nigeria become poor? They're saying that because of the trucks of rice. Okay. I didn't expect you to begin to tear cloth because of truck of rice. So they will give you 5 billion too now. In fact, that is so annoying. Kilo today, 5 billion, 5 truck. Kilo happen. It's an insult. Bayelsa state population, Kano state population is ×5 of Bayelsa. Bayelsa will collect 5 billion. So Kano self go collect 5 billion. What kind of fairness is that? We know this Tinubu is there to make us poorer. Okay. But Bayelsa, they had, or should I say the people of Niger Delta, they had more than 70% of what is supposed to be your resources before Bokwari plundered and destroyed everything. And they started printing money. Then they contribute to the money that they share. How much Kano they contribute? How much Borno they contribute? What is it they are taking from Bauchi Gombe? Tell us what the Zamfara and Nasarawa are contributing, so that we can then wait. Calm down. You guys are rich. Where is Dangote? Why are you fighting over rice? How much is 5 billion? Ridiculous, Abi? Yes. You can say they are poor and you'll be fine if you are not Igbo. For those Yoruba Ronu, and the rest of them, they share their own 6 bowl of rice in Kwara right now. For those, they don't even know, should we share it or just cook it and serve everybody? Once the food finish, it's okay. If we want cook now we'll go give us money for ingredients. We go contribute money to make ingredients to cook this rice. No, me, I no deal at the go house. So no, don't worry. We'll keep the rice. They said they have also given them 5 billion. They will still give us money. Anything they give to all of us, we can contribute that money, put it together, cook the rice, buy small ingredients, and then serve everybody. That is your palliative, like that, plate of rice. That's the best. Everyone can actually have a taste of the rice, by the way. Because I don't think they are going to say, yeah, everybody, open your palm. Because that's how you can possibly share and everybody will have a share, right? You don't go there with a bag. They will put spoon, 1 teaspoonful. They put your own for your hand. You must not drop, close them very well, until you get to your house. And or if you have your own bowl, they say, oh yeah, 3 spoons. Palliative for subsidy remover. So gradually, protest is coming back. And I bet these ones were told, if they could go out and protest, maybe call Luke and increase the money. Now they are calling him. In Nigeria Republic, they call Tinubu Ebola. In northern Nigeria, where protest used to be Haram, protest is coming back gradually. If repentant Boko Haram can protest, that only protest more. It is all coming together. This time around, they have a song for him, and they said Tinubu means hunger. Now, in northern Nigeria, I can tell you these people are so angry with their children. And Ebila like said the Shege Bansa is playing out already. Faster than expected or planned, Abby. Look at this.
Ni ma ina kwance ne ba da lafiya. Yara na 5 marayu ne, babansu Allah ya mai rasuwa, kanin ma ya rasu, babban wan ma ya rasu. Ba wani mai tallafa mana.
Wasu min suka sha suka mutu?
Kwanan su 4 ba su ci abinci ba, sai baba su ta dafa ruwan zafi da gishiri saboda sun ishe ta da kuka, cikin su ba komai, suka dafa ruwan zafi da gishiri suka sha, duk sun mutu malam.
Iki muke nema. Allah ka taimaka mana, ya taimaka mana. Muna neman abinci, ba mu da abinci, ga yara yan dudu don Allah, don annabi. A taimaka mana mu ma.
Masu bibiyar mu kamar waɗanda suka fara bayani a baya kuma suna ihun ƙananan yare da manya suna cewa yunwa ta dame su. Wannan abun ya faru ne a cikin garin Kaduna a ƙaramar hukumar Igabi da ke nan wato cikin garin Kaduna a Rigasa. To bari mu je cikakken abin da ke damu waɗannan bayan Allah da kuma damuwar da suke ciki.
Tunda nake a rayuwata shekara na 62 ban taba ganin an sai garin tuwo naira 1400 ba, ban taba ganin an sai shinkafa naira 1700 ba. Yunwa ta dame mu, taliya naira 500. Dan Allah dan annabi muna kai kukan mu ga mai girma ya sunan shi shugaban kasan Tinubu, muna kai kuka gurin Tinubu ya taimaka mana ya dubi girman Rigasa. Muna cikin wahala, muna cikin tashin hankali, ciwo ya dame mu, ba kudin magani, ba abin da za mu ci, mazajen mu ba aikin yi, ƴaƴan mu ba aikin yi, in sun taba a kama su a musu cin mutunci. Dan Allah dan annabi a taimaka mana, a ba mu ƴaƴan mu aikin yi da suke taimaka mana muke cin abinci. Mun kawo kuka gare ka Tinubu, ka taimaka mana.
Ina kira ne ga gwamnati ta duba halin rayuwar da ake ciki yanzu nan a anguwan nan namu. Mutane sukan kwana da yunwa, wasu kwanan su 5, wasu kwanan su 4, a kwana a wuni ba a ci ba a sha ba su da abin da za su ci. Sannan in kana da dan kuɗi kalilan abinci baya sayuwa. Shinkafa yanzu nan wanda talaka yake iya siye 1500 ne, garin tuwo 1600 da 700. Dan Allah dan annabi ina za a da mu ne, saboda Allah mu dai tunda muke a duniya shekara
Aladu Anobi, nítorí Ọlọ́run torí Anobi. We are now boiling water with salt to feed our children. We can no longer afford to eat the normal tuwo, to eat the normal tuwo shinkafa. Do Aladu Anobi, they just torí Ọlọ́run torí Anobi báyìí. Tinubu, hunger want to kill us, so. And they told us that when it comes in, everything is going to be better. But look at it today. So, me, I know that do Anobi. You don't take. Mom, see me. My mom could be taken for a comedian too, by the way. You know, she had this sense of humor, of just throwing word. And you begin to wonder, what did you say? Like, what does that mean? You know, sometimes you'll be wondering, what language is that? And I was a little boy, right? So I grew up around that kind of environment. Okay. So it was like, you know, talking to somebody, I say, do Allah, do Anobio. Do Allah, do Anobio. And you'll be like, what was that? And she was like, I'm just telling I'm telling him to please. You just saying to, you know, Abuki, and you're telling him, do Allah, do Allah. What was that? You know, that was my mom of blessed memory, honestly. She was a comedian, kind of, you know, in that phrase, right? But that woman was like, oh, this is not a funny matter. People boiling salt, water and salt. I remember when, in fact, it wasn't a good one, okay? But I'll talk it as if, like, you know, something you've seen very well, even in plays, right? Where people are so poor, that they have nothing to eat. And the mother and the father, they know they couldn't feed the children that night. So they'll put a pot on their fire, and put a stone in it, or a few stones in it, to make it look like they are cooking. So the children will be waiting, hungry, tired, waiting for the food to be ready. There will not be any food, but at least they are seeing a pot on fire. We'll wait for mama to finish. We'll wait for her to finish. So in that process, right, some of them will slip off, all of them. And that's exactly what this poor parent want them to. Just slip off while you are waiting for your food. By the time you open your eyes, it may be the following day. And when we get to that day, we'll figure it out what to eat again. Do you understand? Now, that when that woman or those women were talking about how they have been like suffering, and you could see it all over their faces. Like everyone else. So they are senators, they are governors, they are there sharing the billions. They are hearing about them, but they are never in their plan. But for election, Abi, if it was an election, they can give every state 50 trucks of rice, and they will get them 50 trucks for each state. If they declare a run, if the court declare a run in this their election, you see all this rice and money that is now looking like, you will see rice everywhere. You see food everywhere. It's just so unfortunate that the people that stole the Corona Palliative, rebranded some of them, sold them off, or shared them as souvenirs. And the people were left to figure it out themselves. The same people are coming back with Palliative, and look at them. So when you look at those people, when you look at, that is the face of an average Nigerian. Not those ones you are seeing on Instagram, those ones you are seeing on Facebook, those ones you are seeing everywhere that are still like, when I still get data, they abuse people online. You still get data, they defend APC. That kind of those people. No. You see those faces you saw? That is what an average people in Nigeria are really, really experiencing. It is a total hopeless situation. Totally. So now they are protesting from northern Nigeria, even though they haven't protested in southern Nigeria. All right? But I am going to let you listen to what Pastor Bakari had to say about this palliative or not. But let me quickly say a big thanks to the following people. Chike. Now I know that it's Chike Lue. So Chike Lue, my brother, from Edmonton in Canada. I got your message, yo. Support for Yoruba Union school kids. Thanks a lot, Maiyegun. All right, I got your message. K. Akinola, I got your message too. Your donation. I also got yours. Olumide Akin, you know yourself. Thank you. I also got your message as well. Badewa Olakunle. All of this on PayPal. And I think that is okay. Somebody also. Omolara? Fagbu. Okay. You know yourself too if you are watching. I got your message almost 10 days ago. You did give. So in all, I think, yeah. So I can say I have received a total of 193 pounds from all of you towards the Yoruba Union on PayPal. So thank you. Very much appreciated, okay? But Pastor Bakari, let's call him Bakari tonight. Pastor Bakari, who had this to say, to call you on this palliative thing. Yeah.
That governance under the new administration is not going in the right direction. First, Pastor Bakari laments the effects of the removal of fuel subsidy on Nigerians.
Mr. President, even though you have announced some palliatives, let me remind you that palliatives cannot address the root cause of the problem. Therefore, we demand that you address the root cause of the problem. Take the yoke off the neck of the poor, go after the looters, recover the loot, and retool it to the benefit of Nigerians. In simple terms, Mr. President, kill corruption, non-Nigerians.
In the aftermath of the recent coup d'etat in Niger, the clergyman faults President Tinubu for leading the proposed plan of military intervention by ECOWAS, describing it as an evidence of the president's impulsive leadership style.
By placing military invasion on the table from the very start, before subsequently exploring diplomatic options with the coup plotters in the Republic of Niger, President Tinubu once again put the cart before the horse, thus placing Nigeria and the sub-region in a precarious situation. While we condemn the spate of coup d'etats in West Africa, we recognize that the situation calls for deep introspection on the part of African leaders and makes even more urgent the case for good governance. The call upon a government that is asking the poor to tighten their belts cannot afford a bloated waistline. A reduction in the size of government will ultimately translate to a reduction in the cost of governance. By nominating 48 ministers, the president is about to set a record for the highest number of ministers since 1999. This is not the kind of record expected of a supposed reform-minded government. In a world of cutting-edge nations, in which governance is becoming lean and agile, what does the president need 48 ministers? Or a cabinet of close to 70 persons for, other than the distribution of patronage? It is hypocritical for a government that has subjected Nigerians to untold hardship by adopting neoliberal policy prescriptions to then turn around and expand the size of government, thereby violating a core aspect of the same neoliberal principles. That, Mr. President, does not constitute genuine reforms. It is governance by political convenience. Truth be told, certain ministerial appointments and that of the current APC chairman by consensus illustrate the error that proceeds from the ruler, as stated by the preacher in Ecclesiastes chapter 10, 5-7. He reads, and I quote, "There is an evil I've seen under the sun, as an error proceeding from the ruler. Folly is set in great dignity, while the rich sit in a lowly place. I've seen servants on horses, while princes walk on the ground like servants." It does appear, Mr. President, that by your appointments, there's a reward for bad behavior and mediocrity in our polity.
Incumbent traditional prime minister, His Royal Highness Igwe Dr. Honorable Engineer Pastor, His Excellency Ambassador Igwe Uwezuoke, as onye mepimu nke izizi African tallest man, otu onye na-ekwomu olu a osisi kankwụ ọkwụrụ ọka, fine man without pimple, ọ natara dike mma nke mbụ, okwuru ọra dike righarịrị, otigbu ụdị mkpa dị na nwata ekwe.
Do you know why I played that, right? I have been reading your comments about Tunde Bakarum. Now, it is more like Lamba and all that. You know, you can add his voice to it. I mean, when you pick people who speak out, right? you should not leave him out whenever he does, whenever he does speak out, right? And he was talking about those who told you that you should endure, but they are having overbloated cabinets. Not that it is quite new. It is very much relative, you will say. We're talking about the cabinet. Manuel Ferreira, thank you very much for that, by the way. That's very kind of you. Yeah. Sometimes I get this vibe from my, from the Maiyegun's people, and they're everywhere, right? That whenever they are feeling generous, right? You can begin to see the different kind of colors of this super chat and all that there. All right. And sometimes I kind of see it as if like I was probably like I'm talking to you directly right now. We're all here sitting together, and then you just feel like, oh man, this guy is good, man. This guy is good, right? You know what? Here, kind of, And I don't know what that vibe will be that will get you that much. And I love it anyway. But if you are looking for a way to support Maiyegun, right? You can be a member of my YouTube channel, okay? You can be a monthly member. You can be, and you can cancel that anytime too. I've had people who actually does that on a steady. That is direct support, like every other support. And if you really, really want to make me feel so special, I'm going to say, please support Yoruba Union. Give your penny to the union. I do the same thing too. And that will mean so much to me. I'm serious. I'm not saying you shouldn't do what you do normally. But if you really want to say, how can I make this Maiyegun know how much I really appreciate him? Give your contribution to the union. We have people who are actually doing that. We have people who are actually working for us as well. They also get paid. We ensure of that. So thank you to all of you all the time. Let's go back to it. Talking about appointments, 48 ministers, 70 special advisors, and on like that, for the same people who are telling you to endure the hardship for some time and all that, to make it worse. Well, is it worse enough? To make it worse, they appointed this man as your minister of youth. Okay? Now, that kind of triggered a new debate. All right? It triggered a new debate, kind of like people were like, let's be this. So, in one of the one of the TV interview where Adesheye Ogunlewe, former minister of works in Nigeria under Obasanjo, about what be this now? Why they will give a 70 years old man as the youth? You know what Ogunlewe said? Ogunlewe said, if they had given the ministerial position to a young person, that the youth will not respect him. Sure, you get that, but now that the youth have somebody that is their grandfather, they will respect him, and it will then. No, I don't know how to say it. Ma go and play you that, okay? Adesheye Ogunlewe talking about Tinubu's ministers at the Arise News studio earlier. Listen to this.
You do that. Let me just pick you up on what you said earlier regarding the Minister of Youth in that ministry.
Thank you very much, Senator Ogunlewe, and good to have you on the show today. I'd like to ask you, in terms of the appointment of the Minister of Youth, I'm sure you've probably heard the uproar and the conversations around the fact that a nearly 60-year-old Abubakar Momo has been appointed as the Minister of Youth. What do you make of this? Do you think it doesn't matter? It's his experience, even though some people have said, oh, he was once the president of the student union in Uniben when he was a student there. But does that qualify him to be the Minister of Youth? Or do you think, as part of the plans of the president in including younger people in his cabinet, he ought to have gone for a vibrant, younger man or woman with fresh ideas?
honestly, Mr. Momo is about the best man for that job. You know, it is leadership we are talking about. To at least mentor the youths. Can the youths mentor themselves? What are they going to be looking up to? Who? You have to look up to a leader that will be your role model. So that is Mr. Momo for you. A very, very, a gentleman of the source. So the youths should just learn from him.
You do that. Let me just pick you up on what you said earlier regarding the Minister of Youth. In that ministry, you're saying mentorship. Young Nigerians today look at people like myself with gray hair and people like yourself who are older than me and say that we don't need you to mentor us. We know what we want, and the way we deliver results on it to show that we're ready to do our things our own way is look at what they do in the area of technology, in the area of entertainment, like Davido, like Wizkid, and so on. They know what they want and they know what they can do. So how can you possibly say to them that it is okay to have somebody that they should look up to when they don't see what that person is going to put on the table for them, like my colleague Ayo said? How do you respond to them, sir?
The youth should prepare whatever they want from the Ministry of Youth. They need a leadership. They cannot be talking to their own, peer, somebody that is of the same. Where would the respect come from? The people in the ministry, some of them have been there for 30 years. They are not young people. So it is the program that is for the youth. The people who implement that program are elderly people. Unless you want to remove all the civil servants in the Ministry of Youth and bring all the young people, you meet all aged people there too. Experience, exposed. The youth should cultivate the habit of learning history. What have they been doing? Yes, they've not done it right. How can we add value? What can we do? It's not for you to get rid of all the elders. When there is problem, who are you going to talk to? Our tradition, our culture. Remember the elderly in the community. You cannot kill all of them at the same time. It has to be gradual. We know they are in a hurry, but they should be able to be in a hurry to learn. Learn, make mistake, and then you will take over eventually. But not to say arbitrarily, let everybody in the ministry go away.
What are we do today? Today, I will live out my voice in space. Oh, yeah, what I know, you are always there for me. Yeah. Oh, my God, you are my only Lord. Forever when they say, what are we do today? Today,
Tisebo, àtisẹ́tẹ́, àti ń parọ́ tipẹ́, àtisẹ́tẹ́, tìtó òdìmú òdodo òsìmọ́, àtisẹ́tẹ́, kágbàdé fáláre, àtisẹ́tẹ́, kágbẹ̀bí fáláre, àtisẹ́tẹ́, adájọ́ ń parọ́ torí owó, àtisẹ́tẹ́, òdìlú ń parọ́ nítorí ipò, àtisẹ́tẹ́, èdò gbówó ń tẹ́, àtisẹ́tẹ́.
Ogunyeye. Somebody said it's not Ogunlewe. It's Ogunyeye. Old man was advising the young people to learn from another old man in the Ministry of Youth. Because by culture, the youth will not respect themselves, but they will respect an old man. Do you understand? And, I mean, cringy to watch, right? How did you feel? Somebody said, whose papa be this? Now them be that. Our elders, you have to learn from them. Learn what? How to steal? Is that not the only thing you will learn from them? Incompetence and irresponsibility. That's what you're going to learn from them. What do you think you're going to learn from these old criminals? Tell me. You mommy. What do you think you can learn from them? How to manipulate the constitution, the law. How to, snatch it, grab it, and run with it. how to get a cover-up when you loot the public fund, lead people to poverty. What are you actually going to learn from them? Humor me. Because they will say you don't have experience. Like, what experience do you think you need to learn from these old thieves? That the young people would need respect, you know. When you heard Remi earlier, Remi also was talking about respect. Our culture, indeed, very beautiful culture, by the way. Africans. And from where I come from, as a Yoruba man, tradition and culture, they are something, oh. But chancers and criminals like this, who have now grown old, they have already abused that space before people like us started cleaning it and clearing the mess. It is always good to respect people, not just because they are older or younger. It is a normal thing. Respect people. It is very healthy. All right? They also are expected to respect you back. If people are condescending towards you, no matter how respectful you are, at a point, you would have to throw away that home training. You know that? Yeah, condescendingly, repeatedly. To the point that they have become so entitled, like, it doesn't matter what I do, you know you have to respect me. I'm an old man. Oh. Are you freaking mad? See, I'm an old woman. Oh. Respect my age. Oh. Do you even respect our own age as well? Do you even think about the consequences of all what you are doing on us? Do you respect us? Or do you think we don't deserve respect? Like, do you have respect for the citizens themselves? Respect is reciprocal, they say. Remember? If I respect you and you disrespect me, you don't demand respect from me by like disrespecting me. You took the destiny and the lives of the people as a gamble. Children are being born into poverty that shouldn't even be. You care not what become their lot or what become their own. You care about yourself, your ego, and your respect. To hell with that. If you respect the citizens, you won't steal from them until you pushed millions, over 140 million of them, into poverty. If you care, if you have that respect, respect is not just a word. It is an act, it's an action. You do them, you don't say them. So when the likes of these guys now pontificate because they are in public place, public office, they are old people, and then they want to remind us of our culture, our tradition, that says we have to respect. We have to respect. Don't you have home training? Ni? Did they not train you well at home? Ni? That has mortgaged the future of those he knows and those he will never know because of this public office he occupied. That same person is demanding respect from people he never really cared about. How does that work? Respect is a two-way thing. Yeah? It's a two-way traffic. All right? When you give it, then you take it. But look at them. Everywhere they turn around, I'm old man, no, mabumi, oh. You remember that time when you go to the public tap? You know me, I grew up in Ijebu. Na Johnson, thank you very much as well for that super chat, by the way. You are incredible. Thank you. Manuel Ferreira came back with another chat. And thank you again to you, Manuela. Yeah, should I say Manuel rather? All right. Thanks a lot for that. So I grew up in a place where I could play life scenarios that a lot of you can easily relate with. Do you remember that time when we were like, you go to the public tap, you want to go and fetch water and you are on the queue? And if it be man or woman, they will just walk through the queue, and they will just put their own pail or their own bucket. They just put there in the tap. I'll be like, no, yeah, go and queue. We have been here all afternoon. No, man, no. And they say, Michael, are you trying to abuse me now? Are you trying to disrespect me? Am I the one you are talking to like that? I'm not talking to you anyhow. Please don't cheat or don't jump the queue. Go back there. Please don't abuse me, oh. Don't abuse me, oh. I have my own children at home, oh. My children can never talk to me like that. If my children are here, you can never talk to me like that, oh. I say, you know I'm an elderly person. Don't you have elders at home? Did they not train you at home to respect elders? What are you talking about? You're cheating me. That's cheating. That's not right. They say, but that's what we use elders to do now. What do you use elder for? In Nigeria, they will be telling you, shameless, irresponsible people. Entitled, shameless, irresponsible people. Because they are old, oh, cheating you. And then they will turn it and say, Ma bumio. Don't talk to me like that, oh, I'll send it to your home. Oh. You are doing something wrong. I am the one to be blamed. I am the one that lacks home training. I am the one that lacks respect. Where is yours? And that's the society we grew up in. Oh. Hey, tebari Maiyegun lano. Hey, I didn't know that Maiyegun, that boy, I didn't know that he has rotten. Oh. Hey, if you see what he did to Mama Folake at the public tap yesterday, he insisted, no, you cannot fetch before me. You cannot. I said, everybody was begging him, let her fetch. Let her fetch. She's an older woman. She respects you, we respect her. At least show some respect. You know, that boy, he said no. You know those ones that will say, Ma bumio, say, Ma bui. And I'm actually got it wrong. And you do it wrong, the ideal thing is to tell you that you are wrong. Don't come around and say, Agbalagba ni mi o ma bumio. That's what they are bringing to the politics. I say, oh, so le pe mommy elole. But mommy call Joe, and my mommy is not the one who stole the public money. Can you call your mommy a thief? Can you call your daddy a thief? You don't even have home trace. Emma will let on entitlement. How could somebody be a thief and they still have entitlement to say, respect me, oh? You know I'm an elderly person. Any money. You have stolen the money for public health. You've stolen the money for education. The one for infrastructure. I mean, don't you have home training? I'm an elderly person. Do you not have elderly people at home? No, I do. I have elderly people at home. I don't have thieves. Because I know that thieves also grow old. Now talking about these career criminals, they've been at it for years, 20 years, 30 years. Career thieves. They can't demand respect. Like they whine us in it. Now so your own papa train you to be a thief. Public trust. They put you in a public office. That's public trust on you like that. You hold everything you do to the public. You started stealing from them. They call you thief. You say they don't get respect. They don't get home training. Your papa and your mama train you to be a thief. A thief in Agbada. A thief with beer, white beer. I said, can't you see that I'm an elderly person? Mad in this. I said, why they one-on-one? You can buy it in like buy it in, you can doubt you deliver. You demand respect. Only thief, they demand respect. Only in Nigeria, my people. Only in Nigeria. In our culture says we should respect elders. Then only. Only ni now. You know, so respect. Everything finally badgesha. We must tell this generation, oh, respect is good. These criminals have no respect for you. They have no respect for anything that has to do with you. They are chancers. And they come in different forms and shape. That they are older doesn't mean that they are not thieves. Okay? Don't let them tell you, culture say you should respect them. No. In Yoruba land, there is a saying. There is a saying. Tí olè bá da aṣọ àrán borí. You know aṣọ àrán? Aṣọ àrán. Okay, I'll say it in English. Wait. Tí ọmọ olè bá da aṣọ àrán borí. Tó wọ aṣọ idẹ. Tó wọ bàtà góòlù. Tó wá ń wa Rolls Royce góòdì. Baba, don't ever look around and say, Ajeo. Because whatever ti o le ba ni, ki se ti e o, o ji ni o. The English version of that Yoruba proverb I just told you now. In Yoruba land, where I grew up, the best student, Yoruba language, best student, Odogbolu Grammar School, my set. Yoruba literature, best student, Odogbolu Grammar School, my set. Emi mo nbe sọ̀rọ̀ nsin yo, from that Yoruba culture, that I actually had a chance, of passing through, not just in real life, even educationally. Yoruba said, if you see a thief that dressed so expensively, gold loin, golden chains, golden shoe, and driving the golden Rolls Royce that reeks of wealth. 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 In Yoruba land, I was raised to believe that I should not respect that thief, because whatever thief has is not his own. Do you like that word? Thief. Thief steals. So whatever you see on a thief, whatever a thief owns, even if a thief built a family, lovely family, children, lovely, everything owned by a thief should by no means attract or feel attracted to you, or you should be attracted to at all. Because whatever a thief, wherever you see with a thief, is stolen. And you don't have to respect them. You mustn't respect them. Unfortunately, they have made our people poorer enough that they have to worship the thieves. Do you ask how he made his money? Shut up your mouth, Maiyegun. When he was poor, did you ask him for how he made his poverty? Of course, I do know how everybody became poor in Nigeria. And how many of you became alibi, enablers. And you are still enablers right now. So we know the source of the poverty. We just want to know the source of their wealth, the money they are throwing about. What is the source of the money? They raised you not to ask that question, you know? At least, just collect your own share and keep quiet, Abi. They didn't raise some of us like that. You should know that. I mean, fortunately, they didn't raise some of us to believe that instead of casting thieves, explaining the consequences of what they are doing, instead of joining them, we would rather keep, we rather keep that space open that will continue to remind you. When you enable them, you are just destroying yourselves indirectly. Or the moment they lose that lifeline, there is a chance that you actually taste what life truly means. Do you understand? No, don't. So if you are still here with me, I beg you to take a moment and still like this broadcast, okay? And I want to say thank you. Listen, I've also received something from George Olayode. That is those who are kind of donating or contributing through the PayPal, okay? If you are very much interested in chipping in anything towards the Yoruba Union activities, okay? Including Mr. Lukman. Remember, we said we need to do something that could actually be there for him. Not that when we have to go there and be giving him handouts, take this money this month, take that money next month and all that. But with your help, £10, £5, £2, 1,000, 1 million, 2 million, 10 million, use all the details you have out there. All of these resources will come together, and I can bet it. You have no idea of how many lives these things are actually changing. I'm glad that I have this kind of people around me, but they can't really do all they want to do if the resources is not really there. So thank you to every one of you who have decided to chip in and be part of this. So thank you. Every penny counts. I'm serious. All right. Appreciate that. So talking about the criminals who were demanding respect. And after leaving the people of Kwara State, who have to figure out what they are going to do with their own 6 cup of rice from the palliative, subsidy palliative, in Akwa Ibom, in Cross River, I think, they have theirs displayed, and this is how it went. Subsidy palliative.
So Senator Prince Basio too has asked me to come here today and ask you to be patient. Just this one that came from federal government, let us share it peacefully. The one that is coming from state government is also coming. I will be doing it time to time to cushion the effect of the fuel subsidy.
The federal government, in partnership with the state government, are seriously ready to take off the hardship occasioned by that subsidy.
We are in collaboration with NEMA, working on modalities that will guarantee no cross-river goes to sleep with empty stomach.
All of us here, we are happy today to see what our new governor done for us in Cross River State.
The Prince, sweet Prince, show us that he's going to do a very better thing for us, for giving us food to eat, because as the situation is in the country, things are very hard.
AIT. Thank you very much, AIT, for that short clip and report, right? And thank you to all of you as well who are still very much here. I was going to take calls, but it seems the time is running against us because I still have a few things to share with you before then. So maybe we should just roll it all over to the full time. And thank you, by the way, once again, to everyone who has responded to this, this chart, especially on the Yoruba Union. So to those who are asking for the Naira accounts, please, before they destroy your Naira, give it to us. Let's use them before the value completely gone. Okay, it's voluntary. Yes, you can also use the Yoruba Union Naira account. Every penny that goes in there, right, is accounted for, and you will be proud to be part of those who put that there. I mean, we've seen what we can do with the little we have. Thank you. Now, talking about the judiciary, there's a group called the Diaspora for Good Government or something, who are now saying the pressure on the judiciary and the threats coming from APC, that they are trying to divert onto, like, other people, like blame others for what they are actually doing. They have this message for them. Diaspora, okay, I'll let them say it.
In ensuring good governance, progressing democratic governance, and the development of Africa. And today's World Press Conference, we'll be looking at 2 important issues. Why did we invite you here? First, we know that recently we had elections in Nigeria. The election has come and gone, but we are not over yet with the outcome. Secondly, recently we had an incident in Niger Republic, and it is a current affair. And as members of the African community living abroad, with presence across the African continent, we want to lend our voice to these issues. But before we go on, first on the agenda, as I mentioned, is about the elections and the ongoing election petition at the election petition tribunal. It is important that I mention to you first that this press conference is to give voice to the letter that have already been sent to the election petition tribunal. And I want to also mention that apart from the election petition tribunal, there were organizations and institutions that were also copied. That includes the Chief Justice of Nigeria, the President of the Court of Appeal, the National Judicial Council. So before holding this press conference today, this has been sent to them and this was properly acknowledged. And they haven't acknowledged the receipt of this letter, which you can see here. You can see them all stamped here. This is their stamp. This is an acknowledgement copy. We are now here to emphasize what we have sent here so that the broader community, African community, will hear us. But before we go ahead, let me reintroduce. Diaspora Action for Democracy in Africa is a Pan-African organization established as a vehicle to mobilize African diaspora across the world, outside the African continent, to organize and deploy people of African descent, their competencies, resources, and social capital to redeem the African homeland from its states of underdevelopment. Let me also say, why are we holding this conference here today? Knowing that this is an African-wide organization, you must know, or we must reemphasize, that as is known all over the world, 1 in every 4 Africans is a Nigerian. And I can tell you that across Africa, everybody is looking up to Nigeria, even the world in general. Whatever happens in Nigeria have domino effect across Africa. Therefore, diaspora Africans decided that this should start in Nigeria and then get across to other parts of Africa. Like you can see today what is also happening in Niger. Apart from the fact that the current president of Nigeria is the chair of ECOWAS, Nigeria is being looked up to amongst other ECOWAS countries to actually lead the action in Niger. Hence, the diaspora community believes that whatever that is done in Nigeria will have domino effect across Africa. That is why Nigeria is the official signal for this organization. And as I mentioned, 2 important things we are dealing with here today is Nigerian government and the judiciary, and we are here to ask them to respect the wishes of Nigeria, even as we look forward to the judgment that is going to come from the
So diaspora guys for what do they call it, Africa and all that, said they've sent a letter to the tribunal that this is so significant and important, right, that they should at least follow their own law. Somebody said it even kind of more better in this interview on Arise Television. Just before we kind of, Mind you, have you liked the broadcast yet? Have you liked this broadcast and shared it yet? Or you are just waiting for when you are done, huh? No, you don't have to. If you have done it, don't do it again. Don't go back, okay? Just, that's fine. But if you haven't, come on, you can take a moment, check it out, and listen to this.
Core of the tension, like you noted. And I want to say clearly that very importantly, the judiciary must live up to its billing. It's the last hope of a common man. The judiciary must do justice. That's what people are saying. I don't understand why that would bother the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I don't know why. I don't know why the government of the day is misreading and misinterpreting that reality. When you say all eyes on the judiciary, Nigerians are simply saying, we want the judges to do right. We want the judges to rule according to the facts and the figures before it. We want the judges to do justice. And that's simply what they're saying.
But there are those who will argue with you and say it is not merely to ask the justices to do the right thing, but a deep-seated distrust of the judiciary.
Well, if you see from that prism, the simple thing is, okay, if there is doubt in the ability of the justices to do right, all eyes on the judiciary is a call for them to prove the people wrong, to show that they are interested in doing what is proper, right, and right. And let me say clearly that at the core of democracy is the transparency, the credibility, the fairness of the electoral process. If Nigerians are judged the February 25th, 2023 election as grossly flawed, then the judiciary must look at the issues fundamentally, look at the issues dispassionately, look at the issues as provided by the Electoral Act and indeed the Constitution. And when they do so, they will do what is proper, right, and right. And that's exactly what Nigerians are calling for. Nigerians are saying to the judges,
eyes on you. Just say all eyes on you. And if you need a reminder of what went down during the February 25th charade that has now prompted go to court, which is like leading to other things now, here is the refresher. This one is from Lagos.
And the funny thing is that the results that they are bringing from this, iṣẹ́ tó ń ṣe yẹn ìdí iṣẹ́ yẹn iṣẹ́ yẹn. Because yes. Why are you talking like this now? He's actually telling you facts. We were searching for you. You went into hiding. Now. And then I want Tipex everywhere. No, it's the truth, Yes, the thing he's doing is wrong because we are seeing the results here and not the results we had at the polling units. And he needs to stop what he's doing because he's not entering everything into the master sheet for the biggers. Yes. Gbogbo nǹkan tẹ́ ń ṣe yìí sí ó ti wà invalid already. Now lórí vivas and then gbogbo result tó enter sí láti bàtà kátó wá síbi àti ṣe now. Just 2 units láti ṣe ń dà rẹ̀. Yes, then wọ́n wá missing gbogbo result tó enter bí is not what happened at the polling units. Kò lọ ẹja tiẹ̀ ṣe báyìí ẹja lo vivas. Yeah, ẹja lo vivas. No, but it's the truth. Because what he change results. What he change results. What he change results. Gbogbo ẹ̀ àti gbogbo kìíní yìí sè irọ́ ni. Gbogbo ẹ̀ irọ́ ni. Yes, we do. It doesn't matter. The biggest has the results. Let's go and get the biggest. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni o. Nǹkan tó ṣe é sì sí. Nǹkan tó ṣe é sì kò lọ. Nǹkan tó ṣe é sì ò lọ. Kò lọ. What he's doing now is not correct. He's entering manual results, and it's not what we did at the polling units. They are entering manual results, and it's not what we did at the polling units. And he's entering it into the master sheets, and he's doing it from, look at all the TPEX that are in C, and they expect us to keep quiet about it. We told him to get the beavers machine. Let's start entering from the beavers, which is what we started doing from the other polling units. He says no.
I just thought I should remind you, because, you know, Stockholm syndrome that Nigerians suffers from, right? A lot of them are now asking you that, where's the evidence? Where's the evidence? Where's the, Peter Obi is not even asking, is not even arguing about the result. He's arguing about the process. I won't weary. Evidence, so if your judges come out and say no evidence, we'll see how the people will react. Sure, you get evidence is everywhere. Your judges are not they are not blind or deaf people. They know what happened. But you know why I told you that they are not going to give you any judgment? The person, they call him Mr. Samani. But before I continue, let me quickly say a big thank you to this my person, Charade Benga Oloba. Sorry that you know, Baba. You were the one who actually came through with that your 40 pounds before the last person I mentioned, right? So thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, by the way, I have managed to put together pull off about 220 pounds. That took a while, right? But yeah, we have limited windows of where you can actually make contribution, okay? I really do wish you donate to us in Naira, okay? Because even after this, we just still have to others feel like donating in dollars or pound sterling and all of that makes the money more valuable. It's up to you. But to those who have responded, thank you, okay? So yeah, when people are saying they are waiting on the judges and all that, that's Samani, you know what he said during the last closing written address. The judge that all of you are waiting for, and other justices, you know what he said about Tinubu? And he said, but this whole thing that you are talking about, this issue of forgery, this issue of a forfeiture in America, and all of these things, they happened a long time ago. That I thought, you know, as Christians, we should learn how to forgive and forget. Let me judge you, the one you presented evidence to. He was telling Peter Obi's lawyer that in the spirit of forgiveness, as Christians, there are all these things that they are trying to pull and all of them, right? They happened long time ago. The judge, Samani, said that in that court. And Peter Obi's lawyer responded that they might have happened a long time ago. But by law, it's still going to be, it still has to be held responsible for them. That's why he responded. But yeah, the judge said, in the spirit of forgiveness, share all these things, can't you just, as a Christian, you can forgive and just forget and move on. The judge already has that, he already said that in open court. A lot of you might have forgotten. A lot of you might not read any meaning to it. So I'm begging you, maintain your expectation, because me, I have an idea where this is headed. So that when they finally do it, you will not be screaming inside the house. You see this? Nigeria is... just think about your children if you have them around, okay? Think about your roommates and others. Manage your expectation. You are not dealing with real human beings. You are dealing with monsters whose career, their profitable criminal career across board brought Nigeria to this sorry state. It's not just the politicians that brought Nigeria here. The judiciary, you know what I mean? The civil liberty organizations and even Nigerians themselves. Do you not see that guy that is Tipexing results in that video I played you? That guy is alive today. God knows how much they gave to him. INEC Adiok staff working for APC, inserting fake figures into the election result sheet. Where is he today? Is he watching what is happening right now? Elections have consequences. So those of you who are enablers anyway, Femi Falana came out and dropped a bombshell. It shouldn't be anything surprising, okay? But it's good for the diary. Let it be on record that somebody else has come out to also sort of acknowledge what we have already been saying. The looting and stealing of Nigeria resources is beyond just bringing in these guys and their machine, stealing gold, stealing aluminium, stealing your zinc, stealing other precious stones and all that. In fact, it has gotten to a stage whereby they are forcing people to abandon their land by offering them money to sell the land. Femi Falana, who probably just came out of, well, he didn't just come across this. In fact, he fought for one of the victims of this scheme that is going on in Nigeria, where illegal miners, they are buying off the land of the people's lands, and those who won't leave, they are being forced to leave because there is something under their ground. And if they are not going to leave, they will kill them. So Femi Falana, in his own surprise, shared this with Channels Television. I am not surprised though.
I mean, just yesterday, a friend was asking me, how can this government appoint Dele Alake as Minister of Petroleum? I mean, solid mineral, it should be information. I said, do you know the implication? That annually, $9 billion worth of gold is illegally taken out of Nigeria. With according to a former minister, Dr. Oga, through private jets. Oh, yes.
$9 billion.
Yes, $9 billion. Gold alone.
They've been able to put a value to it.
Oh, yes. You can Google. I'm not talking of lithium. I'm not talking of other resources. I just handle a case in Osun State. You know, under our Minerals Act, if you are mining gold or any mineral, solid mineral, in my farm, in my land, what does the law provide? 100 naira per acre. I know the law. So you are moving me out of my land. I'm a farmer. This is where I farm. But you said, no, get out of the place. The government has taken over on your land. We'll pay you 100 naira. So they were going to give our client 150,000 naira. And they came to us, what are we going to do with this? I said, don't worry, we'll go to court. So we went to court in Federal High Court Osogbo. Oh, the other lawyer said, no, this is what the law provides. I said, no. Section 44(1) of the Constitution says, if you take over my land for public purpose, I will prepare a fair and just compensation. The law, the judge, this man, awarded 250 million naira to our client. Well, you know what I discovered? Unfortunately, after the case, unfortunately for the company, we discovered that in 5 years, that company will make a profit of $500 million. No tax. Do you run a country that way?
Did you hear that? I decided to add it to this chat tonight so that in context, I can tell you why our people have been condemned to perpetuity of poverty. Their law says they should pay you 100 naira per acre. You have mineral resources under your land they want to take over. So they pay you 150,000 naira. You take the 150,000 naira, which in its value is just 100 pounds sterling. Or 120 pounds sterling. You take that, and the company knows that in 5 years, what they are going to extract from that land is going to be over $500 million. That wealth, that 5 years wealth could change the lives of millions of Yorubas from that same Osun State alone. But what? It is going to be taken out of Nigeria to somewhere else. As long as some palms are already greased, okay? Those they will pay 1 million. Those they will pay 10 million. Those they will give 100 million. And all of them. But the real owners, they give them peanuts so that they can die in abject poverty. That is what Nigeria represents. And that's exactly what they are doing in every part of Nigeria right now. North, east, west, everywhere. Our people are being subjected to the worst of the worst environmental degradation. They have been exposed to different kind of chemicals that they are digging and pumping into their ground, into their land. All of them that will in years to come possibly ruin the ecosystem of our land. But with what to show for it? Nothing. Poverty. And that's what Nigeria represents. Cash for the boys. Dele Alakori should be a minister of mine and all that. So that, solid minerals, so that this whole thing can come through one person, alpha, beta, kind of. And it is just going to be the fraction, the surface that they are going to reap from, even though they will make billions from it, Abi. And our people will be languishing in poverty. But whatever they get from this, because of their greed, is actually a scratch of what is really, really out there that could change the lives of our people. But greed, selfishness, self-centeredness, get rich quick syndrome, we never let them see that. So now our people are going to be left with what? Environmental destruction, health hazard. A lot of them are going to suffer serious health issues due to all of this. On top waiting, because they pay them 150,000 naira for their land. Who is going to protect their interest? Femi Falana was able to defend these ones, and they got paid 250 million naira. Is that even like 0.0000001% of what they are going to take from the land? No. But look at it. Nigeria did that to them. And that's just one out of God knows how many thousands. Look at how our people are suffering. You look at Dubai. What they have is what? It's just crude oil. We are more blessed than them. But the greedy criminals will rather profit from it than harness it to the better use of everybody. Imagine how many billionaires like Saudi that you have in Nigeria, if people are allowed to have access to their own resources, make wealth from it, and put that same back in that same Nigeria, spread and share the wealth, if Nigeria will still be the poverty capital of the world. But look at these greedy scums. The intention is how to get richer, Abi, where you get poorer. Billions of dollars worth of resources stolen. Why peanuts are handed over to our people? But we can't fight it because we are part of Nigeria. Yeah? It's unfortunate. So I also want to take you to Port Harcourt 2 days ago. You know, that some of you will think oil bunkering and stealing of Nigeria crude oil should be coming to an end. Baba, 2 weeks ago, they said they caught a vessel from Ondo State that went there to steal crude oil from Ondo State. But while they were destroying the vessel, the history of the vessel shows that this vessel has been stealing crude oil from Nigeria for 12 years. 12 years ago, the ship was grounded for the same crime of stealing crude oil. But somehow, it escaped from the government and it continued to steal crude oil for 12 years until 2 weeks ago when they discovered that he just stole another crude oil from Ondo State. Remember that, So they destroyed it. And the rest is history. That never stopped the oil stealing. And it also never stopped the drama. Do you know other thing that happened? There's an oil rig somewhere in Rivers State. And it is called Seplasti oil rig. Imagine the confidence of you, of me, Maiyegun, going to Ondo, for example, where they have oil, and I just built the oil rig to start drilling the oil from the ocean, from that river there, right? Nobody to touch me, nobody to check me, no nothing. The fake, well, they call it fake now. The fake oil rig has been in operation since 2016. Is that a country? Nigeria will be great in my lifetime. Baba, continue, they play. From 2016, illegal oil rig was standing on Nigeria water with a name boldly written on it, Seplasti. Workers going there every day to work. ship coming in to load the crude oil that they are drilling. And 2 days ago, the oil rig collapsed. And guess what Nigeria said? It has been operating since 2016 illegally. Are you joking? Like, who was supposed to know that an illegal oil rig is operating in Nigeria? Oh dear. Well, if you ask me, now who I go ask? So I'll show you the collapsed oil rig that has been in operation for the past 7 years.
The job like saying that very fast. I'm very tired. I'm strong now.
God, you have saved me today.
Even that crane when we get close to that place was very risky. The crane can fall. That's
Do you get it? If you don't get it, forget about it. That is Nigeria. Until it collapsed, we didn't know it is illegal. Nobody have a clue of how many crude oil they've pumped already. In those years, that is Nigeria, the giant of Africa. The resources is just there for everybody to steal. Find a way, go and steal your own. If they catch you, well, maybe you don't do them well. If they don't catch you, they will celebrate you, the biggest billionaire in town. And if everybody is asking about the source of your wealth, your friends on social media that you have done giveaway to, they will reply them, why didn't you ask for the source of his poverty when he was poor? Very easy. And you can go and enjoy your money. In a lawless concentration camp or contraption called Nigeria. I mean, I don't know how you do it, but I mean, it's quite, strange, isn't it? Nigeria. Let's go forward a bit. So somebody who once told you that they had it all figured out, but they didn't. It's a chieftain of APC. When you get bored, I can stop the video, but watch this.
Formations, and you really said this is one area that you are very critical and use very strong words, such as that our expectation from your government has crashed. That is a very strong one. I mean, if you are to analyze or assess which of these appointments are you disappointed in?
Well, look, I prefer to talk in general terms now, because to be fair to all those who are nominated, they qualify to be ministers, they qualify to be in the position they are. But the point is, at the stage we are as a country, we expected, and I am saying so as a very active party member who was active in the process leading up to even the emergence of President Asiwaju Tinubu. Our expectation was that we wanted not a business as usual approach. We wanted a situation where the business of managing the affairs of the country will depart from the conventional practices, which we believe is part of the problem of politics in this country. And that is why I qualify it in that open letter by saying that it is clear politics eclipse any other factor in terms of the factors that determine all the nominations, I won't say all, most of the nominations that have taken place. And that is the source of why I said our expectations have crashed. But that being the case, I mean, here we are. We draw the attention of the president. I'm absolutely sure, in fact, before the open letter yesterday, I raised issues about the need for him to really give targets to all the ministers, so that from the beginning, we know that there are targets, and when they don't deliver on the target, he doesn't owe anybody any job. Get rid of them and bring people who can deliver on targets. I think once we get him to come back to that level, that playing level, he will begin to correct whatever may have been the lapses with respect to the nominations.
Let me quickly take you up on this before I take you to Mr. Ganduje's matter, as you mentioned in your letter. What exactly do you imagine is going on with the nomination of Malam Nasir El-Rufai? Do you think that it was politically or technically pushed out of the scene?
Well, look. I didn't want to comment on this because my personal opinion is that, again, politics is being overplayed. You know, if other nominees are cleared, I don't see any reason why Malam Nasir will not be cleared. And sincerely speaking, the earlier we reduce political consideration in terms of determination of decisions with respect to appointment, the better for the country. That will be what I will say at this point.
But I'm just wondering, he's not the only one, though. There are three of them, but it's hinged on issues of security, and that's why their nominations are being pending. But let me take you to Malam Ganduje's emergence and competence. You, are, in strong words, have said that he should not have emerged, and you are relating to his time as governor of Kano State. What do you think for you? Because you sound embarrassed in that letter, and the fact that a lot of people are not able to speak up on these, the fact also that Malam Ganduje and Senator Basiru Ajibala are Muslims, and you're saying that this is repeating itself. But for Malam Ganduje, what are your grounds, or what is your grounds with him?
Well, first, let me clarify. I respect Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje. He is a leader both in the party and in the Northwest, where I come from. I respect him. But I want, and this is where I need to be hard on. I was about the first person that raised the issue, call on Senator Abdullahi Adamu to resign immediately after the election. And my reason was that there is the need for us as a party to demonstrate sensitivity, that we contested the election on a Muslim-Muslim ticket. Having contested on the Muslim-Muslim ticket and won, we need to now demonstrate that it was purely an electoral strategy. And I call on Senator Abdullahi Adamu to make the supreme sacrifice. I reminded him that APC was founded based on sacrifice, and he needs to make that sacrifice. And I made the point that we need to get somebody, a Christian from the same North Central. Now, of course, subsequently, the internal dynamics within the APC played out in such a way that it became conflictual.
Let's be poor. Breathe. Don't suffocate them. We have that responsibility.
Well, that is just me taking you to peep in or peep through the brewing political war that is still going to play out from these guys from northern Nigeria. Is already cooking, and I'm always going to be here to serve you a la carte. My own, I'll go serve you, okay? I will serve you the gist a la carte. Yeah? So thank you so much for spending your evening with me tonight, okay? And I am going to call it a night. Yeah, I wish, we had a chance of taking calls, but it was so good that I couldn't really keep all of that to myself by stopping halfway, okay? And it would have made me to start interrupting my callers, kind of like, I wanted to see that too. So thank you for spending the evening with me and all of that. And to every one of you who also kind of chipped out your support towards MaiyegunsDiary Politico, as well as Yoruba Union. Thank you, okay? If you need the link, the PayPal link, or the account details of how to be of support and all that, you are welcome to ask. So tomorrow, I'm going to try and bring Princess here so that we can raise money properly. All right. Hopefully, there will not be something that is going to be so kind of like boiling or trending that will take most of our time and make it impossible for us to do that. I've been postponing this for 2 weeks. I don't know why I do that, right? It's not fair. Okay. But of course, we'll find a way around it. So thank you for all your support. Thank you for all your prayers. Thank you for all the likes and the sharing as well. I've done my part tonight, and you've done yours. So we will see again. Until then, stay safe. And never stop watching Maiyegun's Diary. Good night.
Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Maiyegun Diary, Maiyegun #1. Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Maiyegun Diary, Maiyegun #1. Maiyegun ti dé o, ọ̀rẹ́ ara yìí. Maiyegun Diary, Maiyegun #1. Lórí Facebook, lórí YouTube. Maiyegun Diary, Maiyegun #1. Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Maiyegun já wa sí. Maiyegun Diary, Maiyegun #1. Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o. Maiyegun Diary, Maiyegun #1. Bó bá ṣe eré àní Maiyegun máa wí. Maiyegun Diary, Maiyegun #1. Ó sì tún ṣe eré wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o. Maiyegun Diary, Maiyegun #1. Maiyegun Diary, Diary Politico. Maiyegun Diary, Maiyegun #1. Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Maiyegun. Maiyegun Diary, Maiyegun #1. Ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹgọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o. Maiyegun Diary, Maiyegun #1. Àní Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Maiyegun Diary, Maiyegun #1. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. Maiyegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. Lórí Facebook. Maiyegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. Lórí YouTube. Maiyegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. Bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́. Maiyegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. Ijó ìgbádìyẹ. Maiyegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. Pẹ̀sìdó bá rúfin o. Maiyegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. Bí gómìnà kówó jẹ. Maiyegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. Ọlọ́pàá ti ń darí bá. Maiyegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. Aṣòfin tí ń rúfin o. Maiyegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. Òpùrọ́ olóṣèlú. Maiyegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rákì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran o. Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rákì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran.
wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ o Maiyegun ó sọ pé wọ́n ò fẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ Maiyegun ó sọ pé wọ́n ò fẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ oníkanṣá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe fáwọn ará ìlú tó gbé wọn débẹ̀ o àyè.
Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì ṣùgbọ́n ní má ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
Kì máa yí ṣe eré ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀ kì máa yí ṣe eré ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀ ẹni bá ti lè lẹ́bọ̀ lẹ́rù o ọmọ bá dèrò kàṣàyè tú wọn síta.
Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
tẹnitẹni ọmọ Maiyegun ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni mo fọlọ́hún sọ ẹ̀ bá kìlẹ́bù lóòótọ́ olódodo ìlú ọ̀tá ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni ìwọ ṣá máa ń ṣọ́ra kò sì mọ́ bẹ̀rù bọ́tà ń lè rí bóníṣègùn lé káwọn mọ̀mọ́ fi ṣera wọn ni ó ti dẹ̀rùn tí wọn ò gbọ́dọ̀ sì mọ́ bẹ̀. èèpo ọ̀bọ̀lọmọ bá dérò tàjẹ́ ò gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ ó ti jọba lórí àbínú ẹni kò sì mọ́ fòyà àìsíwọ́lu ní ẹnìkẹ́ ìgbódì ẹyin lábàrá o ó kó ẹni tó bá dán o àkàmù. Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì o ẹni bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò òní fi wọ́n níran o.
Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.